All right, man. Nick Wright, he's out there talking more stuff. Pretty much, he compares him to a car, but I'll let you check this out. Let's check this out, and then we'll talk about it.
Here's the thing, because if the question is to me, did Brock Purdy silence me? The answer is no, and I will explain why. And now, to your point on the Bucs' allegedly excellent defense,
well,
I know since over the last 6 weeks of the season, we can show it to you. Their pass defense has been the worst in the league, but I don't care about that.
What about points?
I actually don't care about that.
Okay.
Because I don't even think yesterday was the best game of Purdy's season. I thought he was better against the Cowboys. I know he didn't have the passer rating perfect, but it was like 144 against the Cowboys, and he had a damn
better
near
defense.
better defense and under a bigger spot. And I thought against the Jags he was exceptional just a week ago. So I don't even know if this was his best game. Statistically, you could argue it was.
Nick.
Of course,
this wasn't his best
but
game.
that is not the question. Let me use an analogy that I think you might appreciate. Let's say you have a friend that's thinking about buying a fancy brand new sports car like the one Brew has. And you're like, hey, that's fun, fast. I worry a little bit about it in the rain and a lot in the snow. Guy's like, nope, it's going to be awesome. And they're on the open road and the sun's shining, like, this car's awesome. Then they take it out one weekend, it's raining, and they slide off the road. And then the next weekend, they take it out and it's snowing, and they can't get it out of the driveway. And you're like, I tried to warn you. And then the next weekend, they take it out, it's raining and snowing, and they wreck the car.
Okay.
And then the following weekend, the sun's shining, it's 75 degrees, and they're out there flying again. And they call you, they say, I told you this car was great. And I said, yeah, the things I was worried about before, that the first time the rain and the snow would be the analogous to not having all of the Avengers or having to play from behind, I'm still worried about. And that is where my level of consistency on this is unquestioned. Now, we can show you, in fact, can we show you Brock's, I'll give away half the blind reveal, Brock's numbers this year compared to, because people are talking about he is having the best year of anyone in football, and I don't even know if that's true. Hubs, can we show it? Brew, would you at least concede these two numbers are, it's per game, so that's touchdowns per game, then turnovers per game.
Yeah,
one guy's at
similar,
0, you see?
Obviously, yeah.
Okay, very, very similar, right? So let's show it to you. And this is part of my skepticism. That's Jimmy Garoppolo last year. In 4 games with Christian McCaffrey versus Purdy this season. Now I want to show you one more.
So that was Garoppolo for 4 games and Purdy for 10.
Yes, 10. With all the games Christian McCaffrey, correct. But we now know Jimmy G
I think I can get a 4-game stretch.
That's fine. Yeah. Okay, I'll show you.
LaMelo Ball looking
that's
like
fine. Here's
Steph
another
Curry.
one. Would we agree that these numbers, while the yards are different, are very similar in a negative direction? Yeah, right? Okay. That's Jimmy this year. And Purdy in the one game, the games it was raining or snowing.
3 games.
The games where the games where
we could pick 3 games from Mahomes. We could pick 3 games from
of course
Lamar.
Those
we could
are
pick
the
3 games
only
from
games,
anybody.
right?
Trevor.
But if the question is, because have I doubted that Brock Purdy can do what he did yesterday? No. Play from ahead and put up great numbers the way Jimmy
How do they
did?
get ahead, though? You act like he has nothing to do with them getting ahead.
So that's the thing. I do not act like that, Brew.
Yeah, you do.
No, Brew, I'm saying right now, I don't know why you say that.
Does he have anything to do?
Of course.
Because you act, to me, you come off like when it's 21-0, Shanahan says, Purdy,
no,
get in there.
That's where you're mistaken.
No, he helps build the league.
Of course he does. I am not doubting that. I am not saying he's a bad football player. I am saying that the things that he will need to do to be the reason this Niners team finally gets over the hump, I do not believe he's going to be able to do.
All right, man, pretty much comparing him to a car, saying he works some days, but then when it's raining or snowing, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
What do you think about this, man? Pretty much comparing him to Jimmy G, same numbers. What do you think?
That's crazy, just because even though Jimmy G had his moments with us and Kyle Shanahan, he has his moments with his quarterbacks, and he made Jimmy G look good. Like, there's no comparison. I mean, if you see what this guy is doing with the Raiders, like, the Raiders regret even going after him. And, man, I just, like, with Brock Purdy, what he's doing is we've been talking about it like since like the beginning of the season. Like we haven't had a quarterback like this since like Steve Young. Even with like Kaepernick was our quarterback, there's a lot of mistakes on there. Al Smith was a game manager, and then oh man, I can't even believe like we're going down the list of like getting Brian Hoyer and like Trey Lance. And so Jimmy G, like again, like he had his moments with us, but man, like comparing him to Brock Purdy, and then like we said this last video too, that all the analysts, they're not gonna give Brock Purdy. He doesn't look the part, and they're not gonna give him his flowers as far as like being like an elite quarterback. There's probably honestly only 4 quarterbacks I would take over him, but other than that, like he's been winning. He's been like making plays for us. We have all the weapons. Like this is our time right now with him, and he's been proven that he's a not only a starter, but he's an elite quarterback.
Yeah, I think a lot of people said it today. I can't remember who said it, but they're using his draft pick where he was the last pick of the draft against him, you know?
Yeah.
So if he was drafted where CJ Stroud was drafted like the second pick, man, they would be all over him. But the fact that he's so late with the draft pick, and also because he doesn't have the strongest arm, they're going after him. But to me, man, it's old, but it's gonna keep happening until he probably wins a Super Bowl or something like that. Because man, you know, Nick Wright's the biggest hater, and then a few things I heard from Shannon kind of. That we'll talk about that another day. But that he pissed me off the most. Yeah, and I really don't get mad. I usually laugh at this, but I don't know what's up with Shannon. I think because he's a cross-dresser or some shit like that. Yeah, but that was kind of weird.
But like all the analysts, like they're just gonna go against him because again, he doesn't look the part. Honestly, like if I'm going like down the list, besides Pat Mahomes, maybe Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, and Joe Burrows, I would take those quarterbacks probably maybe like over Brock Purdy. But this team like fits Brock Purdy, and he like we've had like 3 different quarterbacks shot for the job, and not one of them could keep it. And Brock Purdy goes in with the last pick being the 3rd stringer. He just goes in and balls in and just shows like, dude, like he can actually get everybody in their spots. Ayuk's having like probably the best career of his playing. Kittle's been like amazing. Debo's coming back. He's healthy. Christian McCaffrey, man, that guy just like is a beast. And so we got the weapons, man. And Brock Purdy, all he pretty much has to do is just keep doing him, just keep making those plays. Because like I said, all the rest of the quarterback couldn't do that. And the analysts are not going to give him his flowers, man. Nick Wright is like the biggest hater. And I swear, this guy can win a Super Bowl and he'll still make an excuse about how he sucks and how he's not elite. They got to be down. And they got to come back. And you heard Broussard, he's like, why? Steve Young even said it, like, why? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly, man. Like, that's funny, like, because Jordan would always be up in all his games, you know? It's like, oh, well, Jordan's got to be down 15. Let's see now what he could do, you know? It's like stupid. How would Jordan want to be down? Like, you want to be up the whole game, you know, to show you're great, you know? So, to me, that never makes sense. But we're hearing that a lot, though. It seems like we're hearing that a lot. Oh, well, I want to see what he does when he's down against so-and-so team, you know? But it's like, it's so ridiculous, man. You want to play good from the first quarter to the end, so... That, to me, I don't know. It seems like Nick Wright, no matter what, man, he's going to be hating on him. Even though he's like number 1 in QBR, number 1 in passer rating, number 1 in yards down the field. He's like number 1 in so many different categories.
And they told him that. They're like, dude, he had the best QBR since Joe Montana. And he's like, well, I said he was a good quarterback. He's just not elite. And it's like, okay, well, he's got to be elite. Well, he's got to be down. And he's got to be like, throwing a certain amount of yards, and it's like, bro, you're like all these hypotheticals, man. These are like crazy scenarios. I got more chance of hitting the lottery than
you know. It's true, man. But we're gonna keep hearing this no matter what. It's just fine as long as we keep winning. It doesn't even matter. And the thing is, during that losing streak, oh man, they were really jumping on. They were ripping on it. We had even fans coming out. I had people in my comments saying it's time to part ways. Like, guys,
even the Niner analysts, they switched boats.
They switched boats, man. But I'm like a rationalist. Like, dude, first of all, I'm looking at the offensive line. It's pretty much 22nd ranked offensive line. We were 26th last week. Now we're 22nd. And a lot of other things, the concussion, so many different factors coming. The defense, everything,
cornerbacks, our kicker, and then even if our kicker makes that, we got 2 losses, and then everybody would still be like, oh, like they wouldn't even give him the flowers. But you know, the Lions could lose 2 games, and then like no one talks about them. They're like saying they're a Super Bowl contender, and it's like, what the fuck?
Also, it pisses me off too. He has 5 interceptions all year. Guys like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, all of these guys have so many more. I think he's like 5th lowest in interceptions, but because it's Brock Purdy, in those 3 games, you know, he threw those interceptions. Like, look at the rest of the NFL, man. They're throwing interceptions left and right too. So I don't know. It seems like they're judging Brock Purdy like
with
way different.
I was looking at
23 years old. 23 years old, man. So I don't know, man. Go for it.
I was gonna say also like the numbers as like the people that they're like raving about, Lamar Jackson, Herbert, like Mahomes. Like Brock Purdy has better like numbers. He has like I believe 18 touchdowns to 5, and like Lamar last time I checked he had like the same amount of interceptions, 5, but just a lot less touchdowns. He had like 11 versus Brock Purdy's like 18. So I was like, dude, he's outplaying these guys. Baltimore is like the top of their division, but yet one guy gets like all like praise and like, oh, he's a Super Bowl quarterback, even though he hasn't even like done anything in the playoffs. Brock Purdy plays 1 year, takes our team to the NFC Championship. Who knows when he doesn't get hurt? But he's been outplaying these guys, man. And maybe there is certain scenarios like the quarterbacks I mentioned earlier. Maybe I would take them just because when you're being like a tall quarterback, you're able to extend the plays. Like look at CJ, he's able to extend the plays, and he's able to throw like the deep ball like he did with Tank Dell. Brock Purdy, he's barely like healing up from that injury, so he's barely like launching like that arm. You saw when he did that with Ayuk on that play. I was like one of the most perfect passes he's made this season, and he's only gonna get better, man. That arm's gonna strengthen up. Our offense is rolling. Finally, we have some healthy with Debo coming back on the offense. And fortunately with our defense, hopefully they could just rally up, because that was a unfortunate injury with Huff. But our team's rolling right now, and they Brock, like, I feel really strong that this is the first time we've had a quarterback where I was like, damn, I think we had a chance to win it.
Yeah, man. But that's what we got, man. Let's know what you think about Nick Wright. Think if he's telling the truth or this guy's full of shit, man. Let us know down below. Talk to you next time. Peace.